So our very first story, these are final year JHS pupils sitting this year's 2015 Basic Education Certificate examination have begun rewriting the 5 papers WAEC cancelled following an exam leakage. Now, English Language 2, that's the essay, is the first reset paper today, Monday 29th. The paper, which started an hour ago, should have ended by now, thus from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now, this will be followed by Integrated Science 2 at 11:30 a.m. to 12:45 p.m. The Religious and Moral Education 2 paper will also be written today at 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. On Tuesday, which is on Tuesday, June 30, the candidates will write Mathematics 2 from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Social Studies 2 and 1 papers will follow from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. According to WAEC, both papers are to be taken at one sitting without a break as usual. What the duration indicated on the question paper differs from that on the timetable. The one on the question paper will be followed. With regards to extra time for the blind, deaf and dumb candidates, they would be allowed 1.5 times the time allotted to other candidates. Well, let's get you a feel of what is going on the grounds now. Latif Idris has been visiting some of these centers and he joins me now over the telephone. So, Latif, good morning. Thanks for joining us. What's the situation and where exactly are you in the first place and what's the situation there?
Yeah, I'm right now I'm at the Kanda cluster of school. Okay. Before Kanda, I went to the Lutheran cluster of schools here in Kanda, and the situation is almost the same. The people started just about 45 minutes ago. They are writing paper 2, English paper 2, and that is the different thing about this examination, because the original one, which was written and cancelled, you have to write paper 1 and paper 2, but in this case, they are only writing paper 2. Here, according to the supervisor, Boaz Hayford, who I spoke to earlier, he told me that they are expecting 355 candidates to show up today, but as we speak, we have only 354 one-shots, and so he is still expecting the last person to show up. But now I think the window of opportunity is closed, because you're supposed to come not later than 30 minutes. If you are late for 30 minutes, you'll be allowed to write, but now it's gone past 30 minutes, and so this candidate who couldn't turn up today has missed out on writing the English paper. So that's the situation here at the class.
I see. And is he the only one? I mean, asking around, does it look like he's the only one who has missed out on the reset?
Yeah, I've been to 2 centers, like I indicated, and for the first center, all of them showed up. So this center is the only place which has recorded this casualty, if you like. She is not available as we speak.
Okay, one thing you mentioned was that the paper, the students were still writing the paper as you speak. Now, we're told they were supposed to have ended by 10 o'clock. There seems to be some sort of delay. Why are they still writing?
Yeah, they didn't start on time as it were. Like I told you, they started about 45 minutes ago. So maybe they were waiting for some of the children who were coming from far to be present before they start with the paper, and that's how come they didn't start at the exact time that they were supposed to. But going around the center, speaking to some of the invigilators and going around the examination hall, the sense you get is that the kids, they are well poised. You know, the enthusiasm is there. They are writing with much more confidence. And one of the invigilators I spoke to says, he confirmed that. He said going around, he's realized that the kids are even much more prepared. And so he is very confident that they will come out with flying colors. So we're waiting to see if we can get the kids to speak to after the first paper and get their reaction as well.
Let's take a look at the situation there now. Again, let me ask security-wise. We were told national security officials were the ones going to be invigilating these examinations. How true is that? Have you been able to confirm that?
Yeah, that's the sense I got. But when I got here and I asked Boaz Hayford, who is the supervisor here, he told me that is not the case, and that the supervisors or the invigilators who invigilated the last time, they are the same invigilators here, and he doesn't believe national security is in charge of invigilation.
So for the 2 centers you've been to, we do not have officials of national security invigilating these exams. You still have the very same people who were at the helm of affairs the other time, still doing the same job.
Exactly, according to Boaz Hayford, who is in charge at the Kanda cluster. So that's what he told me, that the same set of invigilators are here, no changes. and he knows them as teachers of the various schools within the district. And so nothing has changed as far as invigilators and invigilation is concerned.
Okay, Latif Idris, thank you very much for that update. Latif Idris is my colleague there, or he's been to some of the writing centers and he came through with that particular report. Now, let's move on now. And some residents in Old Fadama, popularly called Sodom and Gomorrah, are still struggling to access potable water a week after their homes were demolished by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Now, water supply to the community was cut as a result of the demolition exercise, which saw scores of wooden structures owned by the squatters demolished. Joy News' Annie Osabuti visited the place and now reports.
It's almost a week since the Accra Metropolitan Assembly entered this particular community, Old Fadama, popularly called Sodom and Gomorrah, and flattened wooden structures here because residents here are largely blamed for the choked Kwale Lagoon, and which sometimes when it rains, I mean, the water is unable to seep through the gutter. And since the demolition happened, most of them have been left with no shelter. Most of them have been left at the same time with no place to get water. I've come here this afternoon and you could see that there are pipes that were ripped out of the demolition, and that's where they are scooping water. It's been much more of a very, very tense and a difficult one for some of them. They've been struggling, scrambling to get water. And I'm just going to speak to some of them to find out how difficult it has been for them since, you know, their homes were flattened. And this is the only water they rely on. And for how long are they going to get it? Ohima Etisen. In so Mubuno, since modern AMF1 banner Yabayano. In the Asana Musamu.
I had saying so much to pipe Musa, I said,
pipe no omu breaky pipe no and Nahimi.
Oh, I call by 1 week. I call 1 week, so I do a well, you're so you're in a pocket bed, so many so you're in I had so near the empire. Lights in one of my end, I can't so in so over my what church, we never church pipes in the night. I'm in so I call 1 week, and you're so glad.
Now, would you say in so Mubun say, meaning say, sometimes Mubu so Mutia, now say with a free mount.
Ah, said the interminus and said, and the police for Nijina. Why so the pipe near the beer, Pamu be as be a bully free because I want to be a new baby, have a buso. It's police for Nana, my acquaintance will be a bully free.
Okay, so you can tell right now that there's a bit of a struggle among the residents because everybody is trying to sort of get a bit of the flowing water, and it's like it's a daily ritual here because, like the lady said, I mean, for days they've not had water since the city authorities entered here and they flattened their homes. The pipes were equally broken, and because of that, there was no water coming through. This is what they have to rely on for now, and so it's a bit of a challenge. It's a struggle anytime they come here. They have to struggle really hard before they can get a bucket of water. A while ago, one lady was telling me, for example, that she's not even taking a bath for 2-3 days. So it's a kind of a very dire situation for them. But for how long will this particular water continue to flow for them to have it for free is another discussion that they will have for themselves in the coming days. My name is Annie Osabuti, reporting for Joy News.
Meanwhile, the Northern Development Forum is asking the National Disaster Management Organization, that's NADMO, as a matter of urgency to treat last week's demolition exercise carried out by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly at Old Fadama as a disaster issue. Now, the group is suggesting that a refugee camp be set up to accommodate the displaced persons while they find ways to reorganize their lives.
The Northern Development Forum, an advocacy group for the integral development of the 3 regions of northern Ghana, described the mode and timing of the demolition exercise as inhumane.
To demolish during rainy season, during fasting, and during BAC exams. I mean, we could have done better than that. We could have really done better than that. And so we are not against, like I said, the demolition per se, but the mode of operation, the manner in which it was carried out, as if it was done in an angry mood. First of all, they were informed that they were going to demolish 100 meters from the main road. And what they did went beyond that. It was more than 200. Now, who gave the instructions? Who supervised the operations?
The group is asking NADMO to build temporary shelters for the displaced persons, especially women and children who have currently been left at the mercy of the harsh weather.
After all, those Liberians who came from Liberia, the Bujumbura people, they are not Ghanaians. But when they were stranded and they were here, didn't the government find them a place to settle? How much more your own people? You have given 6 months information. You can't even prepare a place or a temporary tent and say move in here, and we will now tell you exactly the plot or the land in which we want you to go and move. That is our content. Sometimes the government does things or people do things without thinking about the consequences. Is this a discrimination?
The Northern Development Forum is also appealing to corporate Ghana and individuals to come to the aid of the victims who are still stranded in Accra.
The Ghana Medical Association will be holding a crunch meeting today to brief its members on the state of their deliberation with governments over their working conditions. Now, the association last week threatened that it will resign en masse on July 1 if government failed to meet its demands. Negotiations between the two parties went stale last week after the failure to sign an agreement on the latter's condition of service. Now, speaking to Joy News earlier, the Deputy General Secretary of the Association, Justice Youngson, stated members will convene at an extraordinary general meeting today to look at the issues at hand pending the July strike.
The truth is that no definitive negotiations have taken place as we speak. No date has been fixed. All that has been said so far basically borders on some documents that has been placed in the framework document that will be, quote, a guide for our negotiation. That is all that, as we speak, we've basically finalized or we have spoken about. But in terms of the true negotiations where government, as the employer, will have its representative or its team, and then the medical association will also have its negotiating team. The two parties sitting together on a table, discussing details or specifics of what should go into the conditions of service of medical doctors and dentists in Ghana. That has not happened as we speak. There hasn't been any. It's really difficult for me to accept that the employer is truly committed. But like I keep saying, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We still have a couple of days to go. So maybe they will come to the negotiating table. Maybe it could be today, tomorrow, the next day. I can't tell. But I think that so far, looking at the trend of events, I wouldn't say there's that sufficient commitment. There may be some commitment, but I don't think I have seen, in my personal capacity, I don't think I've seen that sufficient commitment. National Executive Council of the Medical Association met yesterday together with the fellows who are like a council of advisors, and the council has mandated that an extraordinary general meeting be convened on Monday for all members to come in, because that is more or less the last day. So we'll convene, and then whatever directives that the General Assembly will give, it will be carried out. We trigger the processes, and that is it. Come Monday, we will go and meet. Members will be briefed on all that had happened from 9th November till that day. If there are any development between now and that day, we will still brief members. And based on whatever has happened or not happened, the processes will be triggered, whether all the things as we sort out, which is not in the public domain, at our General Assembly the last time in Takrade, which is how we are going to go about this. If all that we sort out then is going to be triggered wholesale, fine. If they want to alter it because some developments have occurred, that will be up to the General Assembly.
Well, that was Deputy General Secretary of the GMA, Dr. Justice Youngson, telling us about today's meeting prior to the planned en masse resignation. We'll bring you the very latest on that particular one after the meeting that has been held, and their conclusions have been made subsequently. We're taking a break, and when we come back, we have some more news for you. Stay with us.